How many of you know what the 90-day experiment is all about? Any show of hands? One? Okay. So this is what I would like you and me to try for the next 90 days. This is what it's all about. And the warning on this again was Dan was pretty much saying a lot of people, maybe the first one, the wealth account, makes sense to a lot of people. The giving account does not make sense to a lot of people, and they don't see how this applies. But his really big advice, and he didn't come up with this, it was somebody else that he got this from, but they pretty much say, don't question it, just do it. Do it for 90 days. You've done a bunch of crazy stuff in your life and in your business that cost you lots of money and a lot of time, so this is not going to be that much of a undertaking. But open up a 2 checking accounts or saving accounts. One is your wealth account, one is your giving account. And you set a percentage, doesn't have to be big, 1%, 2%, 10%, whatever you want to do. And make a deposit to those accounts every time money comes to you. No matter where it's from, no matter what type of money, whether it's $1 or $10,000, you go to that bank and you make the deposit. And you do it for the 90 days because you want to get that habit. I mean, Dan says now he has a spreadsheet and he keeps track of this stuff still, but he doesn't drive to the bank every single time anymore. But don't skip this step. I mean, he's warning you, don't do the spreadsheet. Don't do this, I'm going to remember stuff. Just do this for 90 days. And in the last newsletter, if you read it, or maybe the newsletter before, there was a guy that was supposed to come today that's here local that Dan was highlighting in the newsletter because it was one of the people that went to his wealth event in July and did the 90-day thing, and it was just crazy. I mean, read the newsletter, or maybe next time if he shows up, we can have him share that with us. But his schedule problems, he couldn't make it. But I wanted him to actually come and present this slide today. Now, I'm going to share with you something that actually happened to me over the weekend because I really didn't give it enough thought till, and I don't know, a lot of you can probably relate to this, but I'm going through a mail and I got an envelope with the Cleft Palate Foundation, with their fundraising piece, asking for money. And so I'm sitting there. This is when this clicked actually for me. And I'm looking at the options, they're saying it costs $250 to fix one child, and so it's really cool, not expensive, and you can make a difference. But I'm looking at the options, $11 a month, and up to whatever. Just looking at it. But what I'm thinking at that point is, okay, well, how much I could give? Is this going to cut into my budget? So I'm rationalizing this decision. I'm just thinking about it, looking at the pictures and just being emotional about it and thinking how I could help. But my thinking is not, let's write them a check. My thing is, how much I can write it for or do whatever. Well, then somehow it clicked. I mean, I read the book a few days before that. And I'm thinking, if I had a giving account where I would set a percentage, even if it's 1%, and I put the money in there, if there is $250 in the giving account, there's nothing to think about. You can strike the check for $250, send it out, do something good, and you do not have to give one little thought of if it's going to affect you in any way on any other level in your life or business or whatever. And that just when it dawned on me, I was like, wow, I mean, that, and whether it's that charity or this charity, some charities are scams, some are not, whatever. You just make a decision if you actually like the charity or you like, that cause, but there is no more questioning if you can do it. You know the balance, and if you do even a few pennies or whatever, from 1%. So you do the math, $10,000, $100. You make $10,000 a month, you have $100 in giving account. You can make a lot of difference. And what Dan is talking about, there is a math to it that obviously is not logical to the math standards, but you have little Johnny and little Joe. Johnny has 4 pieces of candy or whatever. He gives Joe 2 pieces, and how many candy he's got left? Well, normally you would say 2. Well, Dan could say that 4 minus 2 can equal 40. And there's a saying, something about, what is it? The size of the hole you give through is the size of the hole you're going to receive through. So there's this whole thing that, I can't explain, but so I'm going to try. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm just going to do it, and Set whatever I can afford, and we'll do it for 90 days and then report.